Welcome back to Take Care Time, the tales and exhales of caregivers. I'm your host, Beverly Nance, and this is episode 2 of The Bridge Center, our in-depth look at adult day programs. Last episode, we followed Rosa and Jorge Sr. as they fought to get their son JoJo into a day program after years of waiting for a Medicaid waiver. It was a journey filled with roadblocks, exhaustion, and the kind of quiet battles that caregivers fight every day. But now, JoJo has his chance. He has been accepted into the Bridge Center, and today, we step inside those doors with him. For Rosa and Jorge, this is supposed to be the beginning of a new chapter, one where JoJo is engaged in meaningful activities and where they finally get a sliver of time to breathe. But as we'll see, the transition wasn't as smooth as they had hoped, because starting something new, something unknown, is never easy. It's 8 a.m. on a calm Tuesday. Today is day 2 of JoJo's attendance at the Bridge Center. Rosa stands in the driveway, gripping JoJo's backpack a little too tightly. The Bridge Center van is coming any minute. JoJo stands next to her, rocking slightly on his feet, staring down the street. He doesn't seem anxious, but Rosa is. Jorge Sr. is home today. He has a few days off before his next haul, and he's using this time to be present. He leans against the doorway, arms crossed, watching Rosa fuss over JoJo's belongings. He'll be fine, Rosa. Rosa nods, but she doesn't believe it yet. When the van finally pulls up, a woman with short hair steps out. Her name is Lisa. Lisa is one of the transportation aides. She greets them warmly and helps JoJo into the vehicle. Rosa watches as he slides into his seat, staring out the window, his expression unreadable. As the van pulls away, Rosa stands frozen. Jorge walks up behind her and places a hand on her shoulder. "Come on," he says, "let's get some coffee." But Rosa doesn't move, because this is day 2 of the first time in years JoJo isn't home, and she's not sure what to do with that. JoJo was happy when he came home yesterday, but Rosa spent her day out of sorts and kind of melancholy, sort of at a loss. The Bridge Center, which is also affectionately known as a place of possibilities, the Bridge Center sits on the edge of town, a converted brick building that once housed a small elementary school. Its modest exterior gives way to a warm and inviting space inside, designed to be both functional and comfortable for its participants. Large windows line the front, allowing natural light to flood the common areas. The entrance opens up into a spacious lobby, where a mural depicting a vibrant community welcomes visitors. The walls are adorned with framed artwork created by participants, showcasing their creativity and individuality. To the left, a series of offices house administrative staff and case managers who ensure that each participant's ISP is properly implemented. Further inside, the center is divided into distinct areas tailored to different activities. A recreation room features a mix of comfortable seating and small activity stations, where participants can engage in games, puzzles, and socialization. The arts and crafts room is filled with bins of supplies, paints, brushes, paper, and fabric, providing a creative outlet for those who enjoy hands-on projects. For those who need quiet time, a sensory-friendly relaxation room offers dim lighting, weighted blankets, and noise-canceling headphones. The goal is to provide a space where participants can self-regulate and find comfort if the day becomes too overwhelming. The heart of the Bridge Center is its multi-purpose room, where group activities take place. Whether it's a morning stretching session, a music hour, or an educational workshop, this space fosters engagement and routine. A small kitchen off to the side allows staff to help participants learn basic life skills, such as meal preparation and cleaning up after themselves. Outside, a fenced-in courtyard offers a safe space for participants who enjoy fresh air. Raised garden beds provide an opportunity for those interested in gardening, while shaded areas encourage small group interactions. The environment is designed to promote both independence and social engagement, striking a balance between structure and personal choice. Yesterday, one of the first things the Bridge Center staff did for JoJo was to review his Individualized Service Plan, or ISP. The ISP is a critical document in Medicaid-funded programs like this one. It outlines a participant's needs, strengths, goals, and specific supports required to help him thrive. For JoJo, his ISP details his communication methods, his love of music, his struggles with transitions, and the kind of structured activities that help him feel comfortable. The plan is developed with input from his family, medical professionals, and program staff, ensuring that every aspect of his care is personalized. The Bridge Center staff use JoJo's ISP as their roadmap for the day. When Daniel, his assigned staff member, sees that JoJo responds well to music, he makes a mental note to integrate it into his daily routine. When JoJo shows signs of stress, staff members know to follow the ISP guidelines on how to provide comfort without overwhelming him. The ISP isn't just paperwork. It's a living document that shows how JoJo is supported in his new environment. Inside the Bridge Center, JoJo is introduced to his new environment. Inside the center, the walls are lined with colorful posters, activity schedules, and framed pictures of smiling participants. JoJo, who is assigned to a staff member named Daniel is a young man with a calm demeanor and an easy way about him. Daniel reads JoJo's intake file carefully and takes notes of his preferences. Since Daniel knows that JoJo loves music, he walks him to the rec room where another participant named Marcus is playing soft jazz on a Bluetooth speaker. JoJo doesn't react right away. He doesn't engage with Marcus, but he doesn't pull away either. Daniel sits with him quietly, letting him adjust. The second day is about observation. No pushing, no overwhelming demands, just allowing JoJo to take in his surroundings. JoJo doesn't smile, but he doesn't shut down either, and that's a win. Back at home on day 2, Rosa is restless. She thought she would finally have time to relax, maybe take a nap, but instead she paces. She checks her phone. There are no phone calls from the Bridge Center. She knows that's a good thing. It means there haven't been any problems. Still, she finds herself picking up her purse and heading out. She drives to the grocery store, moving slowly through the aisles, staring blankly at shelves of food. She picks up items that she doesn't need, simply because she's never had this much uninterrupted time before. Every few minutes, she checks the clock. The hours feel stretched too thin and unnatural. Eventually, she goes home and sits at the kitchen table, staring at JoJo's empty chair. She expected this day to feel like freedom. Instead, it feels like something's missing. Jorge Sr., he handles things a little bit differently. He welcomes the quiet. Sitting in his favorite recliner, he finally watches a TV show from start to finish without interruption. But halfway through, he finds himself pulling out his phone and scrolling through pictures of JoJo. He zooms in on one from last year. JoJo's in the backyard wearing his favorite red hoodie, watching the trees. George's throat tightens. He spent so much of JoJo's childhood on the road, hauling cargo from one state to another. He provided for his family, but he missed things too. And now JoJo at his day program, something they fought so hard for, but feels different than he expected. He glances at Rosa, who's still lost in thought at the table. "He's okay, you know," George says. She nods. "I know," but knowing doesn't stop the ache. George watches her for a moment, and then he leans forward. "Rosa, before JoJo was born, you enjoyed quilting. That's what you need to do. Start quilting again. You finally have some hours during the day to enjoy yourself." Rosa looks at him, surprised by the suggestion. She hadn't thought about quilting in years. The ideal lingers, stirring something inside of her, a memory of a time when she had space for herself. At 2:30, the van pulls back into the driveway. Rosa is outside before it even comes to a full stop. Lisa helps Jojo out, hands Rosa a clipboard with some notes of the day. "He did very well again," Lisa says. "Didn't say too much, but he didn't seem upset. He likes the music room." Rosa nods, taking it all in. Jojo steps into the house, immediately walking to his favorite spot by the window. He rocks slightly, humming to himself. It's the same rhythm as before. "He's okay," she exhales. Later that evening, as Rosa washes the dinner dishes, George's words quilting. She had almost forgotten how much she loved it, how the feel of the fabric in her hands and the rhythmic stitching once brought her a sense of peace. She wipes her hands on a towel and walks to the hallway closet, pulling open the door. Inside, neatly tucked away in a box she hasn't touched in years, are her old quilting supplies. She runs her fingers over the fabric, smiling slightly. Maybe it was time to bring this part of herself back. The next morning, as Jojo's van pulls away from the driveway, Rosa grabs her purse. Today, she's going to the local craft store. It's time to start again. Adjusting to something new isn't just about the person experiencing it. It's about the whole family. Jojo's first few days at the Bridge Center were not dramatic. There were no outbursts, no meltdowns, but for Rosa and George, it was a day of learning how to let go, just a little. In the next episode, we'll explore Jojo's adjustment period, how the staff at the Bridge Center help him find his rhythm, and how Rosa and George learn to reshape their daily lives around his new reality. Because starting something new isn't just about the first day, it's about the days that follow. Caring for a loved one is a full-time job, but taking care of yourself is just as important. That's why the Take Care Time Respite Box was created, to remind caregivers like you that self-care isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. Each box is thoughtfully curated with relaxation essentials, comforting treats, and small joys to help you recharge. Because when you take care of yourself, you're better able to care for those who depend on you. Visit takecaretime.com to order your Take Care Time Respite Box, because you deserve a moment of care too. Please note that this episode features reenactments and dramatized details. While in most cases the exact verbatim dialogue may not be known, all dramatizations are grounded in thorough research and crafted to honor the stories shared. To respect the privacy and confidentiality of the individuals involved, names and some identifying details have been changed. Do you have a story that you'd like to have told? Please contact us at podcast@takecaretime.com. We would love to hear from you. Until next week, take care.